Chapter 35 The Razak's Revenge. A dull throbbing roused Eragon. Every time blood pulsed through his head, it brought a fresh wave of pain. He cracked his eyes open and winced. Tears rushed to his eyes as he looked directly into a bright lantern. He blinked and looked away. When he tried to sit up, he realized that his hands were tied behind his back. He turned lethargically and saw Brom's arms. Eragon was relieved to see that they were bound together. Why was that? He struggled to figure it out until the thought suddenly came to him. They wouldn't tie up a dead man. But then who were they? He swiveled his head further, then stopped as a pair of black boots entered his vision. Eragon looked up, right into the cowled face of a Razak. Fear jolted through him. He reached for the magic and started to voice a word that would kill the Razak, but then halted, puzzled. He could not remember the word. Frustrated, he tried again, only to feel it slip out of his grasp. Above him, the Razak laughed chillingly. The drug is working. Yes. I think you will not be bothering us again. There was a rattle off to the left, and Eragon was appalled to see the second Razak fit a muzzle over Saphira's head. Her wings were pinioned to her sides by black chains. There were shackles on her legs. Eragon tried to contact her, but felt nothing. She was most cooperative once we threatened to kill you, hissed the Razak. Squatting by the lantern, he rummaged through Eragon's bags, examining and discarding various items until he removed Zarok. What a pretty thing for one so insignificant. Maybe I will keep it. He leaned closer and sneered. Or maybe if you behave, our master will let you polish it. His moist breath smelled like raw meat. Then he turned the sword over in his hands and screeched as he saw the symbol on the scabbard. His companion rushed over. They stood over the sword, hissing and clicking. At last they faced Eragon. You will serve our master very well, yes. Eragon forced his thick tongue to form words. If I do, I will kill you. They chuckled coldly. Oh no, we are too valuable, but you are disposable. A deep snarl came from Saphira. Smoke roiled from her nostrils. The Razak did not seem to care. Their attention was diverted when Brom groaned and rolled onto his side. One of the Razak grabbed his shirt and thrust him effortlessly into the air. It's swearing off. Give him more. Let's just kill him, said the shorter Razak. He has caused us much grief. The taller one ran his finger down his sword. A good plan, but remember, the king's instructions were to keep them alive. We can say he was killed when we captured them. And what of this one? The Razak asked, pointing his sword at Eragon. If he talks? His companion laughed and drew a wicked dagger. He would not dare. There was a long silence. Then, agreed. They dragged Brom to the centre of the camp and shoved him to his knees. Brom sagged to one side. Eragon watched with growing fear. I have to get free. He wrenched at the ropes, but they were too strong to break. None of that now, said the tall Razak, poking him with a sword. He nosed the air and sniffed. Something seemed to trouble him. The other Razak growled, yanked Brom's head back, and swept the dagger towards his exposed throat. At that very moment, a low buzz sounded, followed by the Razak's howl. An arrow protruded from his shoulder. The Razak nearest Eragon dropped to the ground, barely avoiding a second arrow. He scuttled to his wounded companion, and they glared into the darkness, hissing angrily. They made no move to stop Brom as he blearily staggered upright. Get down! Cried Eragon. Brom wavered, then tottered toward Eragon. As more arrows hissed into the camp from the unseen attackers, the Razak rolled behind some boulders. There was a lull, then arrows came from the opposite direction. Caught by surprise, the Razak reacted slowly. Their cloaks were pierced in several places, and a shattered arrow buried itself in one's arm. With a wild cry, the smaller Razak fled toward the road, kicking Eragon viciously in the side as he passed. His companion hesitated, then grabbed the dagger from the ground and raced after him. As he left the camp, he hurled the knife at Eragon. A strange light suddenly burned Brom's eyes. He threw himself in front of Eragon, his mouth open in a soundless snarl. The dagger struck him with a soft thump, and he landed heavily on his shoulder. His head lolled limply. No! Screamed Eragon. Though he was doubled over in pain, he heard footsteps. Then his eyes closed, and he knew no more.